What did you need?
Oh, no, we're good. I was just looking for Tom, so. No, she's,
Escort on my way.
it's the kids, so.
Valuable stuff.
It's fine. Tom, we're good. We can just let it be. It's okay. It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock.
Don't confuse me. Oh, I don't know if he was trying to change that, but I think he's gonna try to fix
Little
the
room.
panel that was open, so. You're good. Just bring it up here. We haven't started yet, so. Oh, technology issues, sorry. You know, I don't ask questions. Are we good with the stream? Perfect. Well, then it's 7:01. We'll call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Lasky,
Here.
Trustee Della Penna,
Here.
Trustee Domke,
Here.
Trustee Forsythe, Trustee Lanisa.
Here.
Trustee Prokowski,
Here.
Trejo.
Yeah. We do have a quorum. We'll move on to presentation of the prepared agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let's oppose nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. We'll move on to Village Board public comment. Anyone wishing to provide a comment on a topic or an agenda item may address the Village Board in person during the public comment and public hearing segments of the Village Board agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The Village Board also passed the IML Civility Pledge, which states, in the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. Madam Clerk, do we have any witness slips submitted in advance?
In advance. The first is from Robert Smock, if you'd like to come up.
Yep, absolutely. Just make sure you speak into the microphone.
Okay, the first one is flags along or stakes along the sidewalk. I live on Banbury Court, and there's 3 houses there that have driveway markers. 2 of them have driveway markers. The other one has wood markers, and it doesn't present a good picture for Roselle. Plus, it causes a hardship on people that are driving, wanting to park. Also, getting out of driveways if they park right behind your driveway. I don't know. I don't think there's an ordinance against it, but if there's not, does anything go? You can put anything out there you want?
So there isn't an ordinance specifically prohibiting those usage. I know we have some regarding signs. I don't know if our zoning administrator can answer that right off the top of her head, but if not, if we could get your contact information, we'd love to follow up and we can outline and have a further conversation about that, if you will.
The next thing is snow removal.
Mhm.
And I know the snow is hopefully gone this year. But on Banbury Court, hardly ever do we get any of that gunk you put down or before the snow.
Okay, the brine.
We never get that. We also hardly ever get any salt.
Okay.
And so
Are you on the court part or are you like on the street? On the court, okay. We'll discuss it with Public Works then to see. I know brining routes we usually do as a preemptive measure. And so depending on how much time we have to prioritize streets. And so sometimes it doesn't get on every street. Salt should be applied as they're plowing. So that's something that we can follow up and see. Everyone has a different zone.
I understand the snow, you're going to do
Yeah.
cul-de-sacs last.
But you should have salt. So that's something we can definitely look into.
Yeah, plus, how come we don't get any of that gunk you put down? We pay taxes too.
Yeah, I'll turn over to our Public Works Director, Karen Young, to.
One other thing, the school moms coming down Orchard Terrace, terrible how fast they go. And I think some people cut through there to avoid downtown Roselle,
Mhm.
but they go real fast. Maybe maybe some speed bumps or something.
Well, I know from a speed bump perspective, we don't like those deterrents just because it creates an issue, especially during the winter. But we do have a number of mobile speed monitors that we put up, and we do move around the community. And so this is an area that I know we usually do that with, but we will continue to make sure that it is. The other thing that we have done with police is we've been doing extra enforcement, especially around school zones, not only for pedestrian child safety for those that are walking, but we know that unfortunately, for whatever reason today, more parents are dropping off their kids versus using the bus, and that means more cars going to school, which means everyone thinks that their day is more important than the next person, and they're either speeding or creating bad traffic issues. So that's something that we continue to evaluate. So our chief of police is in the back right of the room. He's nodding his head. So we've taken some notes on that issue. And so we can definitely follow up on the enforcement. I do want to get our public works director a chance to talk about the snow plowing though.
Sure, I just wanted to clarify, the pre-treatment you're talking about is our beat hit and our brine mix. That is typically put down only on our primary routes and around schools within the community.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, do we have another witness slip?
One more from Dave Yocum. Yocum?
Apparently, I'm the only person on earth that cares about this, so I just might be my last time bothering you people. I do appreciate the mayor sending me an email on Friday, bring up some of the subjects. Since I got it on Friday and the weekend, today's Monday, it's too late to intercede me prior to tonight. But I do want to address some of the things I read. Because I'm the type of person that I believe when I'm right, and I don't care if the whole world's wrong. I'm still going to stand up for what I think is right. Regulatory requirements. In this paragraph, you mentioned that the village is not utilizing state or federal funding for this program. Why not? I heard that you turned it down. And capital improvement surcharge, CIS fee. Approximately 240 affected properties was 3.5 million. Who does math here? I don't come up with that figure at all. If you only gave $3,000, there's only going to be 10 homes this summer done. That's $30,000. You break it amongst 8,700 homes in Roselle, that only comes out to about 4 cents for the year per home. Now, I'm not asking you to raise people's rates because this is a temporary thing. I'm just saying use the priority. You know, $30,000, make it a priority to do that. Now, let's just say you do 20 next year. That's 60,000. But you can get most of these service lines done for $6,000, or we can on the private side at any rate. You can't, but we can. So if you could come up with half, that would be great. Here's the reason why. Costs are going up. A lot of seniors, we're on fixed budgets. We have no clue what we're going to do. 6 months from now, where are we going to be? At the rate things are going, at the way food is, at the way things are going to be hard to purchase 6 months from now. Different costs that are going up, the taxes, the property taxes are going to go up. All these things are happening. Where do we come up with this money? My Social Security check is $1,400 a month. That's $325 a week. Do I have an extra $5,000 to kick out this summer? No. So what's going to happen if I'm probably not going to be able to do this. So I'm going to continue to get my water through the lead pipe. There's nothing I can do about it. I would like to not get it, but I don't see where I'm going to have a choice. But I'm going to pay the water bill and pretend I'm getting clean water through there. And again, it doesn't matter how pure the water is going into a lead pipe, coming out the other end, it's not so clean as you put out in your own flyer. It tells me that here's what can happen to me. I'm just an old person. I already got a lot of this stuff already. Adults have increased risks of heart disease, high blood pressure, kidney, or nervous system problems. Okay, I mean, that's what you're saying. As I said, I probably already got all this stuff, so it doesn't make any difference. And then it talks about it would not be equitable raise rates for all 8,500 water sewer account holders to fund replacements impacting only 240 properties. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't have any kids in the school system, yet I pay taxes for schools. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. You know, communication. The village first engaged residents along Maple Avenue in 2022 to discuss lead service line replacements. Their feedback helped shape the final policy. Maple Avenue, how many people did you contact were at this meeting? 1, 2, 3? So Maple Avenue decided that I can't get help with the thing. The problem is your financial assistance thing is written in a way that nobody qualifies for it, not in the village of Roselle. I'd have to be dirt poor living somewhere else to qualify for that. So, and by dirt poor, I'm right there, but not quite enough. You know, because you have to consider everybody in the household. And your sheet says everybody in the household's income. You know, so it just, which means that we'd have to take by Julie, who's the homeowner, would have to take money out of her retirement fund, which is already dwindled down to almost nothing, in order to come up with $5,000 or $6,000. You know, so I'm just saying that's all I have for tonight, and I'm not seeing any help from anybody else in the community. So, you know, I guess that's it for me.
All right, thank you so much. To clarify a few things, the handouts provided by the Environmental Protection Agency is required by law to be distributed. When we do test water, it's taken out of people's faucets. And so we do randomly select households that do have lead service lines, and we do take their water from their house to test it. So we are testing it as it comes out to make sure that it is safe and okay for consumption within the village. I think the big thing is, it's not that we rejected federal funding or state funding, we were denied federal funding and state funding. We are, as a community, too wealthy to them in order to have any grants given to us, and that's why there's no funding for us in Roselle to get this. It's a conversation I've had with all of our legislators, that it's not fair, that there's a lot of need in communities that exist, and that I think there's this misconception that DuPage County is the land of milk and honey, and it's not. There's a lot of people who are living on fixed incomes. My parents are on a fixed income, my aunt's on a fixed income. She can barely stay in her home, and there's others in similar situations as well. And so the fact of the matter is, we're having to go with this alone. And the problem is the cost, if the village does anything, is we have to meet state bidding requirements, and that's why the price goes up. That's why we encourage a lot of people to consider their private means to take care of this. But that's why the waiver system's in place, that way families can save and do that when it's right for them. But we'll continue to update all of our public infrastructure in order to deplete our public lead service lines before the deadlines come up. Are there any other members of the public here today that wish to address the board? Let the record show none. We'll continue on with our agenda under officials and staff reports. Under my report, the only thing I have to highlight at this time is we have Bachfest coming up. So that will be an exciting opportunity to kick off the spring season in April. And so we look forward to that. There's also a number of other opportunities that will be coming up in the near future. We've been working very closely with the Lions Club. They're getting ready, hopefully, to submit permits soon, is what I've been told. We haven't received any from them yet. So I think any rumors regarding a cancellation of the Rose Festival is something that is a little too hasty from that end. Otherwise, tomorrow I will be testifying in front of the Illinois Senate subject matter hearing for transportation, specifically public transportation, to continue to advocate for the transit fiscal cliff to be resolved in a way that supports the suburbs and doesn't just bail out the city of Chicago. And so I'm grateful to represent the DuPage County mayors at that forum tomorrow morning as well. So with that being the case, are there any trustees that have a report tonight? Trustee Prokowski.
Yes, just want to remind everyone that Flags for Roselle subscriptions are still open. You can either go through the Flags for Roselle website and subscribe that way, or you can send a check via the post to P.O. Box 72001, Roselle, Illinois.
Thank you so much. Any other trustees? Trustee Domke?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to petition the board once again to allow the Roselle Sister Cities Association to be on a future agenda to bring forth information on another very exciting event that's going to happen with Germany and Roselle. So if I can have that okay by the board, that would be.
Any objection from the board members present to put that on a future agenda? All right, we'll treat the same way we did the last time, so they can report under my section at the next meeting. Thank you. All right, village clerk,
No report.
village attorney, village administrator. We'll move on to unfinished business. Tonight, we first have the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, non-controversial in nature, and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless removed from the consent agenda. Are there any items you removed from the consent agenda tonight? The record show none. Tonight, we have presentation approval of the village board minutes of February 24th, 2025. Adopted resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a master license agreement between the Village of Roselle and Ease Fiber. Pass an ordinance amending section 17-18 of the Code of Ordinance of the Village of Roselle, Illinois. Adopt a resolution authorizing and approving payment for the purchase of parkway trees through the Joint Purchasing Cooperative Suburban Tree Consortium in an amount not to exceed $79,000. Adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the purchase of rock salt by and through the State of Illinois Department of Central Management Services Joint Purchasing Cooperative. And adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and Interstate Power Systems through the Joint Purchasing Cooperative Sourcewell for the Public Works generator in the amount of $113,692. Is there a motion to approve?
Moved. Second.
Madam Clerk, we have a roll call.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
That motion carries. We'll continue on to our other unfinished items for development and engineering services. Trustee Prokowski.
Thank you, Mayor Plesky. I'd like to move adoption of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Schroeder Asphalt Services Incorporated for the 2025 Street Improvement Program in the amount not to exceed $1,314,560.61.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I think what's important to me is we're getting really close to getting that magic 2 number. So we got 1.99 miles of road that we will be resurfacing this upcoming year. So that's an exciting milestone, I'd say, for us. So
Mathematically, 2. You can round up.
with that being the case, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
That motion carries.
Okay, moving on to item 9B, I'd like to move adoption of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 1A for the 2025 Street Improvement Program between the Village of Roselle and Schroeder Asphalt Services Incorporated to increase the scope of work in the amount of $65,439.39.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is the one that gets us closer to 2 miles, right?
Yes. Very close. I guess it is 2 miles if you count the deck being redone for the Plum Grove Road Bridge. So, but we'll get there.
There you
Get
go.
there. So,
That's it.
there's no other discussion. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
And that motion carries.
Moving on to item 9C, I'd like to move adoption of a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with Globe Construction Incorporated for the 2025 Sidewalk and Curb Replacement Program in the amount not to exceed $195,000.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Moving on to item 9D, I'd like to move passage of an ordinance establishing terms, conditions, and charges for recapture of a water main extension on Walnut Street.
Is there a motion? Second? Who was that? Was that Wayne? Thank you, Trustee Delpana. Hearing things.
Also, I'd just like to point out that there is a placeholder number in there currently, so there may be a need to amend the motion following our discussion.
Yeah, and could we have a staff just recap of the way the recapture fee was set up? So as our community development manager comes to the podium, prior recaptures have had a interest rate that's been set by the board that accrues over time. The board recently has made policies to waive the interest since it became a huge burden and barrier for residents to reconnect later. So with that being the case, I'll turn over to Carrie.
You essentially summarized it. In the past, we've typically charged anywhere from, I think, 3 to maybe 10%, maybe back in like the 80s or something, interest on recaptures. I think it's about 2 years ago now, the village board voted to waive accrued interest on a bunch of recaptures. So with this being the newest recapture, staff is proposing an option of charging 0% interest. I think in the past, it was used to try to encourage people to connect sooner rather than later. And in our experience, that hasn't really worked, and it's just, prohibited people from connecting due to the amount of interest accrued.
So right now it has a 1.5% interest rate being applied. So if we want to move forward with that, we can just continue on to voting. If we'd like to amend that, I would need a motion on the floor. So is there any discussion from the board on that item? Trustee Prokowski.
I think there's a lot of validity to going to zero interest to kind of prevent the recreation of the situation we found ourselves in the past with these kind of older recapture agreements and the excessive amount of interest, and again, disincentivizing people later in the future or potential future home buyers that would be part of this.
Would go along with that.
Okay. Trustee Lanisa.
Yeah, I was part of that, analyzing all of that, and there was a lot of interest that had accrued for many years on people, so I would absolutely agree with what Trustee Pierkowski just said.
Trustee Delpena, you're in agreement? All right. So is there a motion to amend the interest rate to 0%?
Go ahead, Tom.
You can, yeah.
I'd like to move to amend this motion to replace the 1.5% interest rate with a 0% interest rate.
And
Second, third, fourth.
Sure, I'm going to give it to Cheryl. Cheryl's going to get the second.
I would like to second that one.
All right, is there any discussion on the amendment itself? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call on the amendment to switch the interest rate from 1.5 to 0%.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
And the amendment passes. We'll now move on to discussion back to the original motion, which is now the recapture for Walnut with the 0% interest. Is there any discussion? All right, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
All right, and that motion carries.
And that is all I have, Mayor Plesky.
Perfect. We'll continue on. We have nothing under administration tonight, fire or police. We'll move to public works in the absence of Trustee Trejo. Trustee Lanisa, could you please handle those?
Yes, I would like to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for the 2025 sanitary sewer lining project between the Village of Roselle and Performance Pipelining, Inc. in the amount of $603,513.20.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this item? Just for clarity, from our public works director, I know this is a Cook County project and we would be using CIS revenue to help fund this, correct?
That is correct.
There's no other discussion. We can go ahead and move to roll call.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
That motion carries.
And next, I would like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for design, engineering, and bidding services for the Kennedy Force Main rehabilitation between the Village of Roselle and RJN Group, Inc. in the amount of $199,300.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? And again, just for clarity, from our public works director, this is also another CIS funded project for Cook County.
I will defer to Tom on that to
Okay.
clarify in this one.
I should say maybe ultimately the project that will be the fruition of this, we have to pay the consultants and engineers to figure it out, but then we have 1.375 million budgeted that we will have to spend in the next year or two for this project. Is that fair? Okay, thank you. There's no other discussion. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
That motion carries. That is it for Public Works today. Finance, in the absence of trustee Forsythe, trustee Delapenna, could you please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the accounts payable list for March 10th, 2025 in the amount of $1,309,055.55.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Doesn't matter that you said $55, right?
I changed it. $5.55.
Never mind, sorry.
Okay.
Second it again. No, you second it?
Any discussion beyond
That
that?
was discussion.
Okay, all right, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
That motion carries. That's it for unfinished business. We'll now move on to new business. We'll have our Assistant Village Administrator, Brian Jonas, join us to discuss a proposed amendment to our agreement regarding the French markets. Just want to make me say that company name again, so
I'll save you
come back again.
incident, and I probably said it wrong too again. So, once the board adopted the agreement at the last board meeting, the owner of the French Market Company came back with some material changes proposed for the agreement to extend the notice requirement for termination from 30 days to 120 days, and then to add a clause, kind of a non-compete clause, that if we were to terminate the contract at any time, that we would guarantee that we wouldn't host a similar market or host our own, which staff doesn't have any problem with these amendments. It just so happened that it hit his desk in France a little bit later, I guess, and this would put his mind at ease. So be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on the board?
I think they're both reasonable requests.
Right, Trustee Lanisa?
Termination notice is from both sides, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Trustee Domke?
I'm trying to imagine now. Let's say they end their term here and they pull out. But there's another market that wants to come into Roselle right after them. That means we have to be devoid of any market for a year. That's how I read this, and why? Is that the agreement they have like with Wheaton or other?
This is their typical language for non-compete. I think it's neither party wants anything other than what we expect to happen. But this is so if the village, for whatever purpose on our side, wants to get out of the agreement, whether it's for default purposes, for just cause, or whether it's just our typical standard termination language, this allows for somebody not to come in and basically steal the proprietary kind of layout, everything in regards to their market, and host it directly after. So they've ran into this situation once before. That's what I know. But this type of termination language and non-compete is pretty standard in all the other agreements that we've seen.
Okay, but let's just say from Roselle's standpoint, what would we do if we severed our relationship with them and then the next year comes up, we can't do anything?
I mean, that's the one part I'm a little bit uncomfortable about, but I guess, and I don't want to put our council on the spot, but I also feel like I wonder how you could really effectively litigate this if we were to be in violation of that. I don't know what that would look like or how that would be remedied. Not that I'm advocating that we would be in that situation, but.
Is it only with the village terminates on the agreement on the village's side?
Yeah, the termination is for the village's side, yes.
So if they just elect not to continue the relationship with the Village of Roselle, we would not be prohibited from having a market with it less than a year.
Next year.
That's how it's written, yep.
Okay.
Is it written that way?
Yep.
It makes it feel a little bit better. It still feels a little
That's
bit.
better. Okay, that's not the way we saw it in I didn't see it in our packet that way. Okay.
Any other questions? Consensus move forward with these amendments?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you so much. That concludes our new business for tonight. Is there any other village board public comment tonight? Record show none. Is there any other business for discussion only? Seeing none, I'd like to Yes, correct. If there's additional, well, if you want to make a public comment, sir, you're going to have to come up to the podium again. I apologize. For the benefit of everyone at home, we want to make sure they can hear everyone.
Not going to have one to keep people from putting these stakes on the roadway. So then that goes, anybody can put anything out there that they want?
So I think it depends on it. And so I would encourage us to have a conversation with our community development staff because they're the ones that enforce our zoning ordinances and whatnot. So that's something that we're not equipped and ready to have a debate on that tonight. We'd have to get a staff opinion on it. I don't know if any other community has actually regulated the use of stakes in yards. and how we could effectively,
Yards, it's village property.
the Parkway.
From looking at, sorry, wait for the train. For looking at Google Maps, you seem to be referring to one reflective metal things that maybe people put at the end of their driveway to help them see,
Oh,
but also orange stakes. Okay, because I see then the orange ones for like private snow plowing and to delineate the side of the driveways. But if there is stuff in the right of way, then we can certainly follow up and look at that. On the private property side, there may not be much authority that the village has there, but looking at some of GIS, we have an idea of what you're talking about, so we could talk to you. Okay.
The Parkway.
We see them on the map. They're on both sides.
You got a code enforcing car that can go drive over there, right?
well,
Yeah.
how come the courts are not getting that liquid? How can that be? We pay tax.
So we do the primary routes and the secondary routes are not done. It takes about 8 hours just to do the primary routes within the community. So we are out there salting during the event and doing cleanup during the event. But it's certainly something we can look at. And if it's a decision we need to do moving forward, that's something we can look at.
How am I going to find out?
So if you just give us your contact information, we'd love to follow up with you because it's going to be a couple different departments. So, okay, that's fine. Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to convene executive session for the purpose to discuss executive session minute review, mandated by section 2.065 of the Illinois Code. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Della Penna.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
And that motion carries. No final action will be taken, and we will be adjourning from executive session.